Alright guys, welcome back. Buckle in because today we have an incredible topic. If you are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Serena. I am talking about twin flames. We are talking about soul-aligned business, conscious relationships, the spiritual awakening journey that is life, and walking you through the steps as we go. So today, if you have stumbled upon this video, there's probably a reason to that. Maybe you are a new coach. Maybe you are starting up your soul-aligned business. Whatever it is for you, however that looks, however that's presenting itself in this moment, even if you're not at a place where the information I'm giving you is going to be used yet, be sure to save this video because it will probably come up for you later if you are starting a new earth business or if you are starting a soul-aligned business. Again, whatever labels you want to use for it are interchangeable, but something that's a little bit deeper than your everyday job, your everyday career. It's like this is more so your purpose. This is your alignment. And you know your soul has been whispering and calling to you that this is what you need to be doing and this is where you need to be going. So that's just exciting in and of itself and terrifying, believe me. I know, I've been there. I've been being there doing this work. It's always a new evolution. It's always sitting in the divine unknown. But today I want to dive into the topic we're going to be talking about, which is 3 offerings that it is so important to have as a new coach or as a soul-aligned business person. So I'm going to take you through these 3 offerings and explain to you why it's important, both on an energetic level, but also a practical level. Okay, so one thing about this soul-aligned business area is it's coming from a place of inner union. Again, I talk a lot about twin flames. So this term of inner union is a balance of the masculine and the feminine. It's honoring that we need both in order to be successful, in order to be whole, in order to be aligned, that kind of a thing. So the way we're going to look at this is very practical, which is the masculine, and also very energetic, which is the feminine. And it's important to have both of these aspects in your soul-aligned business because we need to be in the world, but not of the world, right? So let's dive into it. So whether you are like me, a coach or a mentor, whether you are helping people through their spiritual awakening process, whether you are, you're working with people in some fashion or another, whether that's with sound healing, whether that's with energy work, whether it's body or somatic or breath work, you're facilitating healing in some sort of capacity. And what that means is that you have to have offerings, especially if your main platform is going to be online. You have to have offerings each step of the way for your clients. You want to take your clients, you want to take your community on a journey. Okay, it's not just a here I have this or I have this or I have this, like a buffet, right? It's not just a buffet, it's an actual journey. It's when you're at a buffet, you can eat the food in any order. It doesn't really matter. You're just taking a bunch of stuff and putting it on your plate. This is like a fine dining experience where they come, they bring you the first course, they bring you the second course. You don't have to think about like 5-star restaurants, right? Or experimental restaurants. There even isn't a menu really. Like you're not looking and selecting something off of a menu. You're trusting the restaurant, the cooks, all the team, the whole team, right? The waiters, the cooks, the whole restaurant, the establishment, you're trusting them to bring you exactly what you need when you need it. And so you are becoming that person in your soul-aligned business for your potential client. And that's no matter what level they're at or no matter where they are. You want to have offerings that can meet them at every step along the way. So what do I mean by that? You want to have an introductory offer, you want to have a low ticket offer, and you want to have a high ticket offer. So that means the level of presence somebody is going to get from you is going to be increased as the price goes up, right? So your introductory offer or your, like, let's call it a free resource, okay? So Why are free resources important? Free resources are really important for a couple different reasons. If somebody has found you on, let's say, YouTube, somebody has found you on YouTube, they're just getting to know you, okay? And if they like your video, they like what you're offering here, what that means is they want more, okay? They want a deeper taste, a more full taste of who you are. So your free resource, the beautiful thing about this is you get to make it a little bit more personal. You get to dive in a little bit deeper, and you get to give people a stronger taste of who you really are and what you really have to offer. So if you're crafting your free resource, some advice that I would give is make it personal. Don't be afraid to add pictures of yourself. Again, if people are meeting you this way, they're meeting you through face to face, right? You can see my face here. That means that they're going to want to see that same person. They're going to want to see the same format on the free resource. So whether you're doing, let's say, an audio guided meditation, or maybe you're doing like a video type format, or maybe you're doing a PDF, a downloadable, make sure that there's some photo or about you section on there, almost like you would think about designing a book, right? Or designing a website. So most websites have an about page. Now you want to make sure you also include an about page on your free resource, or at least a little bio, or say hi, like whatever that looks like for you. You want to add that into your free resource because it's going to continue to build that trust and that connection. This is where you can really kind of dive a little bit deeper. You can get more personal. You can be a little bit more of your authentic self. If you feel like you have to, I don't know, put something up here for people to see, then you can actually even become a little bit more personal in your free resource. And I think that's really cool and really special. Now, the thing about your free resource, this could be anything. It's something that you would have wanted at that point in your journey. So think about who your ideal client is, who you're speaking to, what their struggles are, what they're moving through, what their goals are, and design something that you would have wanted at that stage in your evolution. Then from this free resource, what you want to do, which is really, really valuable, is if they enjoyed this free resource, you want to ask two things. Either for feedback, because at this point it's really, really, really important, especially on the free resource, to have that kind of feedback. So for people, if you can have like a link to a quick survey or a testimonial, or if this supported you in any way, let me know, right? Something quick and easy for people to do at the end where they're feeling motivated and they're feeling like, wow, that change really made a difference. Somewhere that they can go to provide you that feedback, and also to critique it, to say, hey, maybe it would be cool if you did this, or I would really like it if you did this, whatever that is. Whatever that is for you, it's important to get that feedback, because yes, at the end of the day, we should be making content and things that light us up, but we equally need to be making content for our audience, because that's who we're here to serve, okay? So it's a balance, right? You don't want to stray too far where you're only making content that your audience wants, but you also don't want to stray this far where you're not willing to take in any advice or any suggestions from your audience. And this is something that we all go back and forth on as we continue to evolve on this journey. I've certainly spent so much time making twin flame content because that's what everybody was asking me for. And now I'm starting to move back into speaking about what's really exciting to me, but from the lens of what's going to help twin flames also. So it's definitely a dance. It goes back and forth. Don't be too hard on yourself if you find yourself on one end of the spectrum or the other. That's okay. Now, the other thing that you want to have on your free resource is you're telling, again, remember, think of this fine dining experience. I'm thinking of SpongeBob where he's like, forget everything but breathing and fine dining. So comment below if you know what I'm talking about. So what I'm talking about here is with this fine dining experience, okay? You want to funnel. Again, I don't like using that term because it sounds so mainstream, like business, so mainstream marketing, but it is true. You want to funnel people to where they're supposed to go next. Again, you want to take the guesswork out of it. You want to say, hey, if this was supportive for you and you enjoyed this, here's where you can go next. And that's where you're going to introduce your low ticket offer. And you can also introduce your high ticket offer. Again, you have to do what resonates and what feels right with you. Some people will offer both in the free resource, and that's perfectly fine. But for those of you that are creating like this journey, then what you want to do next is you want to offer your low ticket offer. So what does a low ticket offer look like? For you personally, it's low energy. Okay, so I personally don't prefer to offer like a discovery call. I don't prefer to offer like a low ticket one-on-one session because of the fact that it's high energy, right? You're getting a lot of me, you're getting a lot of my presence, which means like for me, there is no low ticket offer of my presence. Like if I'm fully with you, I'm fully with you. And that is very valuable. So my lowest ticket offer as like a face-to-face thing is a twin flame reading. So for your low ticket offer, it could be a couple of different things. I also then have a community that I run. And then I have a course that I do. So it can be any number of these types of things, right? For you, it maybe could be like a tarot or an oracle reading if you want to do something face to face. If you want something a little bit more, again, low energy for you, courses are great, but you have to put the energy up front. So that's the one thing I have to say about the course, right? Because you have to create the course first and then start marketing it. So if you're in a place where you have the time and you have the energy to create a course with it not bringing in any income right away, great, then that might be a good option for you. But if you're in a place where you're like, no, I need to be making money with the energy that I'm putting out, then maybe doing more of a one-on-one type situation would be a better option for you. Again, you have to make these decisions for yourself. I'm just here to illuminate you to what some of the options are. Now, I also have a community. I have a twin flame community that I run, and that's also a low ticket offer for me because I'm only showing up to that community every other week for group calls. So I'm not, and I'm engaging, of course, in the community on a regular basis, like in text or like typing, but it's not like a super heavy, like I'm constantly in it type thing. It's like more of one of those kind of passive things where I get to go, I get to look at the comments, I get to look at the questions, I get to respond, and then we come together every other week for a group call, and that's where that more intensive energy comes in. So you can have any number of, you can even do like a playlist, like let's say you're into music, you can do a playlist of your own guided meditations, right? So you can do something like that. Now, keeping in mind that one of the reasons we're on a spiritual awakening journey, whether it's a twin flame journey, whether you're opening your soul aligned business, whether you're doing inner child healing or shadow work, whatever you're helping people through, keep in mind the reason why we seek help is because we don't want to do it alone. Okay, and it might not even be that we're struggling alone. It might just be that we love ourselves enough that we know we need support and we don't want to go it alone anymore. So keep this in mind as you're crafting this low ticket offer. Community is one of the best routes you can go because it alleviates that feeling of needing to go it alone, right? And it instantly connects you with more people in your soul family. So here's the thought process, right? If I resonate with your videos and what you're creating, then why wouldn't I want to join a community of more people like that you have attracted, right? So my community attracts people like me, right? And if somebody likes me, then they can go to my community and be surrounded by a bunch of beautiful souls who are like me and thus like them. So it's this beautiful ability to, really be intentional about what you're creating and create a support system. And a community is a really awesome offer for this because at a certain point, the community sustains itself, right? So people will have questions, other people answer. And it's this beautiful opportunity to be able to give and receive in an aligned way without you putting forward all of the effort all of the time. Now, energetically, that's a really good route to go. But if you don't have the followers and you don't have the support yet to be able to offer that, then again, building that in your channel, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, whatever you're building that first is also really important. So it's important to build a strong foundation so that when you do have these offerings, you're going to be able to transfer people over with success. So one of the things I personally did at this stage was I opened my YouTube members first. So I opened YouTube members and I made like a tier system of you get this access to this content and access to this content. Now keep in mind, I opened YouTube members after I was probably already above like 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers. I can't remember exactly where I was at. And that's when I opened YouTube members. And then months after that was when I shifted and I told all my YouTube members, okay, now I'm going over here to this other community platform. So in the way in which I did it was very slow, but it worked for me and I was able to move people over in a way that I was covering. So again, on a practical level, I was covering my costs of running this platform. So there's so much to think about and so much to consider. I don't want to overwhelm you with information, especially if you're just starting out crafting these things. It just is something to consider when you want to think about primarily your time, your energy, and what makes you the most excited, okay? So if you're also working on your 9-to-5 job and you're starting this off as a side hustle, you want to be very conscious of what you're signing up to. I did this for like two years, maybe a year and a half to 2 years on the side. I did YouTube while I was also doing hair. And so part of that, I was not working for part of that time, and then I began working for part of that time. So there was a section of time where YouTube was my full time, then it wasn't, and then it is again. And during those times, I've really changed a lot of how I do things and really narrowed down and like streamlined everything so everything's consistent, it makes sense, and it's easy to manage. So that's the one thing I would make sure if you're going to set things up in the beginning. Make sure that it has the flexibility for you that you need in your life. Remember, soul-aligned business means it needs to work for you first before it can work for anybody else. So you might have tons of people asking you for this one thing, but if it doesn't resonate with you, then you shouldn't do it, right? So again, it's about asking yourself, what makes me excited and what do I have the energy for? And when you ask those two questions, it will narrow down your options very quickly and you will find the perfect thing for you. So that leads us into your third option. And this is where, like, let's say a community, right? When I have a community, I advertise my one-on-one opening spots and my group spots first on the community. So my community gets all the inside scoop on whatever openings I might have. And then I go towards, the general public or YouTube or email or whatever it is. Because again, you're thinking about this funnel, you're thinking about this journey for your clients, and you're letting them know, hey, if you found value in this and you're looking for more, I have this offering for you. Again, it's never like a pushy thing. You're never trying to say you should do this or you need to do this or I have the perfect thing for you. It's just like, this is my offering, and if you're looking for more, here it is. And whether people say yes or no, that's cool. You still have the offering there. Now, your higher ticket offer is likely going to be some sort of longer term contract. So when you think about it, your free resource. It's a quick thing. It's not going to take people long to get through. It's about creating that momentum, getting them on the train, getting the ball rolling. So things like challenges, things like a 21-day challenge, things like a ebook or a PDF or a like a listening thing, like a meditation, things like that can raise their vibration, get the momentum rolling. Then when you want more, here's where you go. You go to my community, you go to my tarot reading, you go to this thing, my course, and then when you want more from there, that is when you start to think more long term, right? Because a tarot reading, that's like a once-off session if that's your low ticket offer, right? The community, the tarot, whatever it might be. If you're doing like a course, That's your kind of lower ticket offer. And so that's a short-term thing, right? Your course might be 3 to 4 weeks, it might be 8 weeks, whatever it is. And then your community, that's just like a cyclical thing. Now, your higher ticket offer, again, think of it on an energetic level. People are paying for your presence. They're paying for your expertise and your experience in your field. Okay, so the longer that you have experience in your field, the more you can charge. The more presence you bring to somebody, the more you can charge. The reason why it's so important to continue to do your own spiritual work on this path, especially in a soul-aligned business path, is because the more spiritual work that you are doing, the more people can feel that, the more presence you are opening up in your being, and therefore the more power you have. Okay, the more present I am in a session, the more I'm able to respond in ways that are supportive to my clients. So when you're crafting this high ticket offer, consider, how much presence am I offering? How much time am I offering? How much energy am I expending by being there for this person in this amount of time? And so then you have to consider how fast you work, and how fast your client will work. And so some people like a 2-month mentorship, some people like a 6-month mentorship. Whatever that looks like for you, you have to consider your time, your energy, and also consider, again, going back to the practical level, the longer you have somebody signed, the more consistent income you have. So you might feel safe to offer, oh yeah, let's try it out for 2 months because you're not sure. But then also keep in mind, when that 2 months is over, you're going to be searching for another client to fill that gap again. So this is why longer term sessions and longer term mentorship a lot of times is valued over short term. And this is why it's a high ticket offer, because we're valuing the consistency of income rather than maybe let's try 2 months, see how we do, and we can always extend from there. That's putting yourself into uncertainty. Okay, and this is where the masculine feminine is super important, because you want to protect your time, your energy, your finances, and you want to make sure that you're investing in yourself. And if you're not willing to invest in yourself, it's likely that whatever clients you're attracting are also not willing to invest in you. So that being said, you have to decide after all of those factors what term of a mentorship you would want to offer. Now, the other option, right, and this can work in other things. It doesn't just have to be like coaching. It could be sound healing packages. It could be energy work packages. This can look a lot of different ways. This could be tarot reading packages, right? You can do this in a lot of different ways. So get creative with it. Offering your time one-on-one is incredibly valuable, no matter what you have to offer. And I can say this from certainty because I have asked for support on my journey so many times, you guys. I have had a spiritual mentor for many, many years, still have a spiritual mentor, same one. I have had a spiritual YouTuber's mentor. I have had a business mentor. I have had a mentor who's done my SEO. I have had another Awakening with Your Heart's Passion mentor. So I've been in groups, I've been in one-on-one sessions, I have been in like online courses. I have done every possible aspect of this you could possibly imagine over the years. And I can tell you for certainty, when I have had that one-on-one support and been able to talk to my mentor, it has provided me unbelievable support. So just know that your presence, whatever it is that you have to offer, is just a vehicle. Whatever you're offering is just a vehicle. What's really important is your presence with this person, for you to be able to sit there grounded and listen to them. That is the most healing thing you could possibly offer. And so it's making me emotional speaking about it because that's how powerful it is. So that being said, you may choose to do one or both of these things. The first one would be the one-on-one mentorship long-term. The second would be a group mentorship. So if you have something really specific that you're offering, like let's say for me, I'm now offering a group, and this is actually real, so I am actually offering this. So if you want to sign up, check down below. But this is also my example. So I'm offering a group of twin flames that are starting their new soul aligned businesses and need that support to do the practical things, to set up their business, to move through the limitations, the limiting beliefs, the shadow work that come with that, and to actually set up this thing and run it in a soul aligned way. Because that has been something that has been years of my life in the work. And so I now offer a group. If you're interested, sign up down below. And if you want to offer a group, then usually the best part about it is you're creating a course or you're creating a program, and then you're taking people through that program. Now, whether you offer additional one-on-one support there, or whether you offer like, you know, I don't know what else it could be, additional healing sessions or additional meditations or whatever it might be that you can add on to that, that's fine. But this group is meant to be like a very niched down aspect of whatever it is that you're doing, okay? So you want it to be very specific. And again, you want to take your clients on a journey. This is really beautiful because you can say the same thing and like 10 people hear it. So instead of having it where you're saying the same thing to a client and then 2 months later you're saying the same thing to the next client, and then the next thing, like 4 months later you're saying the same thing, it's like you're covering a lot more ground right off the bat, and you're helping more people. Again, when you think about it energetically, to me, I like doing groups because my energy is very precious, okay? And so I know I have a lot going on in my life. I run a community, I have my YouTube channel, I'm a mommy, and so I have a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I know that my value is really important. My presence is really important. So I enjoy running groups. One, because I like making courses. I think it's really fun to make the courses and make the meditations and do the energy work that comes along with this. But also because I like to speak to more than one person at a time. That's why I make YouTube videos, right? Because I want to impact the most amount of people. And I have found a lot of joy in running groups. I've also found a lot of joy in working one-on-one, which is why I do both. But you have to know yourself well enough to know which you would enjoy more. And if you're starting out with this, like right off the bat, you're just starting out, keep in mind that it's really important to focus on the one-on-one. Building your confidence is everything here. So price yourself lower than you maybe think you should, or like just do what you need to do to gain your confidence. I've done this back and forth so many times where I'm like, I'm so valuable, and I price myself high, and then nobody signs up, nobody comes, nobody does anything, and I'm like, damn, like what the heck? And then I price it lower, and then I get people. And it was really just about building the confidence to say, okay, now I actually believe that I'm worth this price. So you have to know in your heart and in your soul whether you need to gain confidence and experience through repetition, through just taking person after person after person, or whether you want to save your energy till you've done enough internal work and not working with people, right, that you can have this higher ticket offer. Both routes are valuable. They just look different. One looks like doing more work up front and getting paid, and the other looks like doing more internal work up front and then manifesting maybe something a bit bigger. So it's up to you on how you want to create it and what you want to do. I've done both routes and both have worked. I've enjoyed, because I really enjoy working with people. I've enjoyed just working with people more so. So when I get a twin flame reading, I get so flippin' excited because I'm talking to a new person. I'm hearing about their journey. I'm learning more about them. Same thing when a new community member joins Union Catalyst portal. When a new person joins my community, I'm so excited. Like, I want to hear about you. I want to hear about your story. I want to learn more about you. I want you to come on the webinar. So that to me is very exciting. Now, keep it in mind, I'm coming from a hairstylist background where I was meeting probably 3 to 4 new people every single day. So I really enjoy that aspect of it, and that just works for me. Now, the most important thing of this entire journey is your confidence and your belief in your value matters more than anything else. So if I could give you one piece of advice that I wish I knew, I would have spent so much less time like running around trying this thing, trying that, trying this, trying that, when really I should have just gathered all of my energy and believed in myself more. But it took me that time and that repetition, and it took me really getting into the depth of my craft in order for me to gain that confidence that I have now. So neither one is right or wrong, but the confidence and you believing in your value is number one, 100%. That being said, you got this. You can do it. I believe in you. You are amazing. If you need more support, check the links down below. And big, 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 big love to you. Thank you for watching this video. Sending you so much love, and we'll see you next time.